So the last thing you ever want to do in a race is a DNF, and you definitely don't want to get a DQ. And for most runners, all they dream about is getting that BQ, and triathletes just want that KQ. What do all these acronyms mean anyway? Watch and find out. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Celtic Clydesdale show. I'm Jim and I am the Celtic Clydesdale. Doing another episode from my backyard, so I hope you enjoy the view. All right, today we're going to be talking about acronyms that get used in endurance sports. All right, so you're about to learn about the DLF, the DFL, the DNS, the DNF, the DQ, the BQ, the AGs, the KQ, all of that. All right, so let's get into it. Let's start off with the Qs, all right? The first one we're going to talk about is the DQ. This isn't a good thing. This means you've just been disqualified, all right? Now, this could happen for, a whole number of reasons. Typically, it's because you broke some sort of rule or you were caught cheating in a race, all right? Obviously, you don't want to get a DQ, so you kind of got to watch your P's and Q's, right? Moving on. Foot racers, particularly marathon runners, a lot of them have aspirations to run the Boston Marathon, and as such they'll get required to do a BQ race. That means a Boston qualifier. Now, BQ can also be used to mean like I could say, yeah, I ran a race yesterday and I got my BQ. All right, that just means I qualified for Boston qualified. All right, that's all it is, BQ, Boston qualifier or Boston qualified. And don't worry, I'm not in any danger of getting my BQ, all right? So the last one is gonna be the KQ. Now, being a triathlete, this one's a little bit more important to me because KQ stands for Kona qualification. Kona meaning the Ironman World Championships, or basically the biggest race in triathlon that up until this year, 2021, is going to be held in St. George, Utah because of COVID restrictions in Hawaii. And then in 2022, I think it's supposed to be held somewhere else. And then I don't know about past that. Maybe it'll return to Hawaii. Maybe it'll end up being just something that rotates from, a host city to a host city, much like the Olympics do. But KQ stands for Kona qualification, and that just basically means you've gotten into the Ironman World Championship, and usually you have to earn that by actually doing an Ironman branded 140.6 mile triathlon or a full iron distance. But yeah, KQ, Kona qualifier. So let's go ahead and move on. All right, next we're going to talk about the people. And when we start talking about the people, I like to talk about them moving from the back towards the front, all right? So first, let's talk about your BOPs, or your back of the packers. This is pretty self-explanatory. Those are the folks bringing up the rear of the race, all right? It doesn't necessarily make them bad athletes or anything like that, but if you ask me, that group of people is highly dedicated to getting out there, doing the race and getting it done, all right? A whole slew of things could cause you to be a back of the packer. Maybe you're just having a bad day. Who knows? It doesn't really matter. The point is, they're out there, they're racing, they're doing their thing, and that's epic. All right? Next group of people are going to be your MOPs, or your middle of the packers. All right? And these are the folks, as it just sounds like, they're dead in the middle of the field. All right? So 9 times out of 10, your middle of the packers got as many people behind them as he does in front of them. All right? Which is a pretty decent place to be. And again, it's a group of people. They're out there doing their thing. They're getting their race on, and it's awesome. All right. Then you got your FOPs. This one doesn't get used terribly often, but those are your front of the packers. Obviously, they're the ones up towards the front of the race, leading the race. Those are going to be your folks to get the podiums, the folks that are placing high overall, but not, technically your elites and your pros and whatnot are FOPs, but usually FOPs, MOPs, and BOPs are all AGs, which means age groups or age groupers, AGers. These are your folks that, you know, they're not out there racing for money. They're not elites. Some of them might be getting sponsored, but you know, at the end of the race, they're not going to win any sort of purse. All right. And you know, some of your age groupers, you know, they may not even place high enough to even be considered for any sort of prize money or whatnot. But all it is your age group is basically the division that you're, the group of people that you race with that are similar in age. Like for me, if I raced as age group, I would be in the 45 to 49. Yeah. The 45 to 49 age group, and coincidentally I would be racing against and compared against other men who are 45 to 49, but normally I race as a Clydesdale, so technically I don't race as an age grouper at all, but I'm still considered an age grouper because I do have the option to race as an age grouper still available to me. All right, those are the people in the race. Let's go ahead and talk about the race itself. All right, let's talk about the race, all right? If you're in a race and you come in dead last, then you just got your DLF, dead last finish. Or to add a little bit of comedy, you could call it the DFL, dead frickin' last, and it's still a finish. It's great. And we like to say that a DLF is better than a DNF. DNF, what's that? Well, that's a did not finish. Why would you not finish a race? You know, I mean, you're out there, you're paying good money for it, why not finish? Well, there's a number of reasons. You could have mechanical issues with your bike that'll cause you to drop out of race. You could have health issues, you know. You could fail yourself with your nutrition and you could just bonk so hard that you can't finish, all right? Or like in the case of like an Ironman branded race, if you don't cross the line in 17 hours, you get a DNF, all right? It doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. It just means you did not finish, all right? Frankly, if you're out doing an Ironman and even if you've gone the whole 17 hours and, you know, you cross the line 5 minutes after that 17 hours, that's still amazing. And I would just say, hey, work up, do it again, get a little bit better, get a little bit stronger, focus more on your nutrition and whatnot, go do it again and get that finish, all right? The last one I want to talk about, the DNS, or the did not start. A lot of times we racers like to frown on the did not start because oftentimes it just means you didn't show up for some reason or another, all right? And that could be you were too scared to even sign up for the race, or you signed up for the race and you chickened out and just didn't show up to run it for whatever reason. Maybe you didn't think you'd do well enough or what have you. Honestly, I would say you got to push all of that stuff out of your mind and just show up. Now, if you've got health issues that cause you to DNS, that's understandable, all right? Maybe you, I don't know, something came up family-wise, you just can't show up, or you're sick and you can't show up. All of that makes sense. But if you're just not showing up for a race because you don't think you'll do well, that's not a good reason not to show up. So as we always say, DLF is better than a DNF, which beats a DNS. All right, so yeah, those are all the acronyms that I'm going to discuss for endurance racing today. So yeah, let's close this out. All right, there you have it. A bunch of acronyms that get used in endurance sports, especially in triathlon, all right? If you've enjoyed this video, do me a favor. Give me that thumbs up. It helps the algorithm focus on my videos and get them out in front of more people. Also, if you haven't done so yet, or you're new to the channel, please subscribe, all right? And ring that bell so you get notified when I release new videos, all right? If you would, please get down in the comments. Let me know what you thought about the video. Give me some ideas for future videos. Give me ideas for any, acronyms that I didn't discuss that you'd like to, maybe that I should put out. And hey, just interact with that however you want. Down in the comments, I love interacting with commenters, and that's part of what makes running the channel so much fun. So until next time, keep on keeping on.